Rob, Apple has just announced the biggest net profit of any company ever. Fantastic sales growth, beat all forecasts, up 30%, I think it was. Surely this thing is worth more than 15 times earnings.
Well, the first question you might like to ask is why you would listen to Lex on this topic, because we've had a hard time valuing this stock, and I think a lot of people have had a hard time valuing this stock because it is unique. However, there are a couple of reasons Apple might have a sort of average price to earnings ratio. First is the natural question, can the Apple tree in fact grow to the sky? They've now sold 1 billion iPhones. At some point, there are enough iPhones. As you said, it just printed 1/4 of earnings at $18 billion. At some point, just the law of large numbers makes further growth impossible. Then there's another question about the industry in general, which is that in consumer electronics, you're always worried that the product will come obsolete and profits will fail. And Apple has done a remarkably good job at protecting the price of their products, but the multiple can only go so far in this industry, even for a great company like Apple.
But this is a company that also innovates some of its big new ideas, the Apple Watch and the new Apple Pay. Surely these things will also help to drive loyalty and earnings.
Yeah, I think that is probably the crucial debate about this stock. How innovative does Apple need to be to justify a stock price of $100 or $120? You could argue, and a lot of people do argue, that in fact they only have to do what I call small I innovation. In other words, incrementally improve the product enough that people who own iPhones will always tend to buy the next one that comes along. And essentially by making switching costs high. So you get everybody using Apple Pay, it's incredibly convenient. You get everybody using Apple's cloud offerings to store their music and their data, and they're just never going to switch. So Apple becomes a kind of annuity even without inventing the Apple TV or the Apple car or the Apple helicopter or whatever the next thing
And
is.
these products serve only really to tie people into buying the next iteration of iPhone.
Right, and at some point you have a highly cash generative, highly steady business that just charges ahead, right? And I think the bulls on Apple, the people who think the multiple should in fact be bigger than 15, arguing this is becoming a very steady annuity business. It doesn't have to innovate its way to growth.
Well, it's finding that growth somewhere, whether it's innovating for it or just getting higher volumes. Rob, thanks very much.